much better if I had wheels. I'm kidding.
You want to switch?
Okay. Good evening. My name is Robert Cagnetta, and this is a meeting of the South Kingstown of Rhode Island Zoning Board of Review. Members present tonight are Mr. Daniels, our Vice Chairman, Mr. Rosen, Mr. Pelletier, Ms. Hicks, and we have alternates of Mr. Elia, Mr. DuPont, and Mr. McDonald. Also present are Amy Goyne, South Kingstown Special Legal Counsel, Jamie Gorman, the South Kingstown Building and Zoning Official, and Jessica Spence, the Administrative Support Associate. This board is made up of 8 people, and more than 8. It is 8. Okay, sorry, I'm having a tough time tonight. This board is made up of 8 people, and 5 of them are regular voting members. A minimum of 4 members are required to be present to vote. In the event that regular members are absent or recused, an alternate member or members will step in. No more than 5 members are entitled to a vote. Tonight, the voting members will be myself, Mr. Daniels, Mr. Rosen, Mr. Pelletier, and Ms. Hicks. And applicants are here either for a variance with dimensional or use or to seek a special use permit. This board is a quasi-judicial body created by the South Kingstown Ordinance pursuant to state statutes. We don't follow strict rules of evidence, and we operate in what we believe to be in a fair and equitable manner. We try to let everyone speak, unless you get carried away, or it's determined not to be relevant. So in the interest of time, please try to be on point and brief, and we'll help you with that. We do our best not to argue and keep things civil, and we try to have our last petition started by 10 o'clock. When your petition is called, please come forward and clearly state your name and spell it for the record right at that podium. Please speak clearly so everyone can hear you. You will then be asked to take the oath to tell the truth, and then you can present your petition along with any other witnesses to testify in your support. The board will then ask you or your witnesses questions. After the petitioner has presented their testimony, anyone in the audience that wants to ask questions about the application or wanting to support or oppose the petition will then be asked to come forward. You will then identify yourself, be sworn in, and present your testimony, which may be followed up by questions of the board. Please do not direct any questions to the petitioner or other witnesses. The board will allow the petitioner to answer questions raised by the audience and or respond to comments after the comment period. So after hearing all the testimony and before the vote is taken, board members will be asked to openly discuss the evidence presented. And so you're aware, variances, special use permits require at least 3 voting members to vote in favor of the petition for granting the requested relief. Board members will ask a lot of questions, and there's a good reason. We cannot just grant anything we choose. There are rules to follow per the South Kingstown Ordinance, so you must give testimony to support certain facts to allow your request to be approved. Tonight we have dimensional variances and special use permits on the agenda. And so for a dimensional variance, you must offer to the board setting the following. Hardships are due to unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and is not due to the general characteristics of the surrounding area. That your hardship is not the result of any prior action on your part. That the granting of the variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area. And that you must also show that the hardship that will be suffered if the variance is not granted will amount to more than a mere inconvenience, meaning that the relief sought is minimal and to a reasonable enjoyment of the permitted use to which the property is proposed. Special use, the special use that you're requesting has to be authorized by the zoning ordinance. So somewhere in the ordinance, it has to say that you're allowed to do it, or else we do not have the power to grant it. The special use permit requested meets all the criteria set forth in the ordinance authorizing such special use. Granting the special use will not alter the general characteristic of the surrounding area or impair the purpose or intent of the zoning ordinance. And like I said, we'll help everyone through this, just in case you just need a little help to identify what it is you're here for. Tonight we have quite a few things on the agenda. There are 9. 2 of them are going to be continued. But if you had a chance to look at the list, we're going to really do our best to kind of get through all these. But if you are here for 8 or 9, which is 80 Richardson Road, or Quagnant Drive, oh no, not Quagnant, I'm sorry. Richardson Road or High Street, 485 High Street, those two might be a little difficult to get to, but we're going to do our best to get through them all. So, with that, we have I believe they're right on the wall over there. Yep, you're welcome. So first we're going to hear, or we're going to get a extension. So this is for 65, yep, is that all right? Okay, we'll do that one first. This is for 65 Quagnant Drive in South Kingstown, Rhode Island. This was by James and Joan Marasco for a dimensional variance. They're seeking to demolish a dwelling and construct a new one with a garage, zero feet from the property line. They are requesting that an extension due to a lengthy zoning board meeting. So they're requesting that the above referenced matter be moved to May 15th, which is the next meeting, 2024. So is anyone here for that particular? You guys are, okay. So that means, are they going to be first on the agenda for next month?
I don't know yet.
Okay, first or third?
Yeah, maybe.
At this point. So they will be heard next month. It's just that we kind of knew it was going to be really tough to get to the end tonight, and we knew that one, there were some folks that had some concerns. So that's going to be held off pending vote until next month. So would someone like to make a motion to move the matter of 65 Quagnant Drive to May 15th, 2024?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move the petition of James and Joan Marasco for property located at 65 Quagnant Drive in South Kingstown to the May 15th zoning board.
Oh, yeah? Petition was made by Mr. Daniels. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Hicks. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Daniels? Aye. Ms. Hicks? Mr. Pelletier?
Aye.
Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. We're going to hear that next month. So is it going to be on? Are they going to be, is there going to be notice in the paper for this? No.
It doesn't need to be renoticed.
Okay. So just be aware that it is going to be May 15th, the next meeting. Yeah, come on up. Sorry, we got to. So come on up, and I can.
Hi,
Hi, just state your name for us.
Jim
and spell it.
Olbrys, 76 Winchester Drive,
Can you spell that for me?
Olbrys.
Okay.
I live in Connecticut.
Sure.
And I just drove 100 miles.
I'm sorry.
Is there a way that I will know in the future if it's canceled May 15th?
So, yeah, go ahead, Jessica.
So if you go to South Kingstown's website, which is southkingstownri.com,
Yep.
go under Building and Zoning,
Yep.
Current Zoning Applications. I put a note on it today when I got the notice that the petition was continued until May 15th.
I was here Monday, looking at that information. So.
Yeah, so you kind of need to look right up until, because as it comes in is when I put it on the website. So as soon as I got it, it went on the website.
Okay, well, thank you
Okay,
very much.
sorry.
And if you wanted, I mean, just know that you could submit through email your testimony. Okay, yeah, sure. If you want to engage with us, then please come back.
The meeting is streamed. The meeting is streamed. Just, if you decide not to come back, or if you can't make it back, you can watch the meeting.
Yeah, you just can't ask questions on the stream, is the only problem. sure. Did you want to ask a question? Come on up. Just do the same, please state your name and spell it.
Jeff Potter, 53 Quagga Drive,
Yep.
South Kingston. Sorry.
It's fine.
Did the Marascos ask for this continuance?
We asked them.
You asked them.
We did.
That's my only question.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Is that it? Okay, so we're going to hear that one on May 15th. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Sorry about that. And then next, Jessica, was Matunic, and they have a request for a continuance as well? Oh, they do? Okay, great. So next is the petition for the Matunic Market LLC, 151 Old Tower Hill Road, Wakefield, Rhode Island. 02879 is seeking a one-year extension of a special use permit under the zoning ordinance, sections 910A, 1 year time limit and 1 year extension. The applicant was originally granted a special use permit on May 31st, 2023, to establish a 147-seat restaurant with alcohol, use code 56.1, with the existing structure on the premises. Lot size is .91. A special use permit was required per the zoning ordinance, section 301, schedule of use regulations table, and section 907, standards of relief. The special use permit had a 1 year expiration date from the original recorded date of June 9th, 2023, in SK Land Evidence Board Book 1857, pages 763 to 765. Owners of the property are Matunic Market LLC for premises located at 151 Old Tower Hill Road, South Kingstown, 02879, Assessors Map 52-7, Lot 51, and is zoned CH. The continuation, okay. Do I have to read in the, oh, okay, it's the only thing. We have for a cover letter requesting a 1 year extension dated March 11th, 2024. Zoning Board review decision granted May 31st, 2023, and recorded in South Kingstown Land Evidence 1857 in pages 763 to 765. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Hamza Chowdhury. I'm an attorney with the firm Eller, Pollock & Sheehan on behalf of Matunic Market, LLC. As the chair indicated, on May 31st, 2023, this board granted a special use permit for a restaurant with alcohol on Old Tower Hill Road. The decision was recorded on June 9th, 2023. We are seeking a 1 year extension under section 910A of the South Kingstown Ordinance. Mr. Rassow continues his plans to develop this exciting restaurant and anticipates it will open in the spring of 2025. Happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
So is there a particular reason why it's taking a little bit longer?
Yeah, essentially there needed to be slight modifications to the plan that was granted by this board for height, so that pushed things back. We just needed to modify the plans a little bit.
Yep. So no major change to your submittal?
No major change, Mr. Chairman.
And you said there's a slight change to height? Or no?
I believe we asked for a height variance relief a few months ago, and that was granted.
Yes, it was. Okay. Board members, questions? No? None? Okay. Want to add anything?
No, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone out there that wants to speak on behalf of this petition? For or against? Okay. So they're looking to extend what we granted, the special use permit. Everybody okay with that? No problem? Someone want to make a motion? Or?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion to suspend or continue, I should say, the petition of Matunic Market LLC, 151 Old Tower Hill Road. The chairman read the application into the record. The petitioner is requesting a 1 year extension based on the previous special use permit that was granted a year ago. In that case, I would move that we continue this petition for 1 year.
Mr. Daniels, if you could amend it to say that the petition will have an expiration date of June 9th, 2025.
So indicated. Thank you.
Motion was made by Mr. Daniels. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Rosen. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Daniels? Aye. Mr. Rosen? Aye. Mr. Pelletier?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Try to make it faster. All right. Next, we have the petition of Calf Bar of 396 Main Street, Wakefield, Rhode Island, 02879, for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking a special use permit to expand the alcohol service area within the building related to the existing restaurant with alcohol. The lot size is .16 acres. The special use permit is required per the zoning ordinance, section 301, schedule of use of regulations table, section 504.18, standards of legitimate theater and restaurant with alcohol, and sections 907, standards of relief. Owner of the property is 396 Main Street LLC for premises located at 396 Main Street, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 56-3, Lot 43, and is zoned commercial downtown. For this, we have application with a cover letter signed and dated February 6, 2024. Owner authorization form signed and notarized February 6, 2024. South Kingstown Zoning Board of Review decision, which is 2 pages, granted on July 21st, 2021, and recorded in evidence on August 3rd, 2021, book 1801, pages 403 and 404. Floor plans, 2 pages, menu, 6 pages, and a continuation requested dated March 19th, 2024, 1 page, 20-foot abutters list and radius map, legal notices, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening.
Hello, Mr. Chair. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for
to see
your
you.
time.
Of course.
James Callahan of Callahan & Callahan, 3 Brown Street in Wickford. Here tonight with Elias Boutros to my left and Ali Boutros to my right and left, the owners of Calf Bar LLC at 396 Main Street. We're here tonight for a special use permit, or more appropriately, an expansion of our special use permit. We appeared before you in 2021 via Zoom, received a special use permit for alcohol service. The business has done very well, and the alcohol service has been a nice addition to the business. To that end, Ali and Elias have recently took over the Rarities bookstore space, which is directly adjacent to the coffee shop. Oftentimes, well, the additional space is 684 square feet. Oftentimes, there are more customers than seats in the actual establishment, so this will help them with some seating area. And to expand this to allow for people to have a drink in that space, we need to apply for special use permit again. So Ali and Elias have been great additions to Main Street. Calf Bar is a very popular spot for families and business people. They're also assets to the community. During the Christmas season, they provide free trees, Christmas trees to families in need. And overall, we think they've been a nice addition to Main Street as a business. We believe the special use permit will have no impact on the current use and that it will not affect the character of the area in any way. So with that, I ask you to, I guess, swear in Mr. Boutros.
Good evening, Mr. Boutros.
Good evening.
And just spell your name, please.
Elias Boutros, B-O-U-T-R-O-S.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
So please go ahead.
Could you spell Elias also, please?
E-L-I-A-S.
Elias, you've been at 396 Main Street for about 4 years.
Just about.
And that location's almost across the street from the Massey Chevrolet.
Correct, directly.
And how has the move to Main Street been for you in the business?
Excellent, especially, during COVID, moving over. We were lucky for our landlord, Mr. Gross, to approach us at the old location, saying that he had a spot for us at this new location during COVID, and we took a shot at it, and it was a good thing to do, just to expand from a 400 or 500 square foot house where Mr. Monroe, we were lucky to rent from, to this location now.
And about 3 years ago, we appeared before the board here for a special use permit for alcohol.
Correct.
And how has that been for the business?
Well, I mean, we're primarily a cafe, but beer and wine does help the overall.
And you've made a small expansion into the adjoining former bookstore space,
Yes,
and that's about 684 square feet.
correct.
And what will be in that location you're able to expand?
Well, we'll definitely put some more chairs and tables, probably like 5 chairs and tables, a total of 25 extra seats.
And based on this expansion, will your hours change or your business model change at all?
No,
And do you feel this change will affect the general character of the area in total?
no.
And do you know how many seats are at the bar? I think there's 12 on that.
Correct. Till about a week ago, we changed where our register and our pickup area is, so now we have 10 seats at the bar.
Okay. And do you know how many seats there are overall in the,
Approximately, with this new area, about 62.
so the primary purpose of the restaurant is not alcohol service, it's a cafe, coffee shop with beer and wine options?
Correct.
And there are other establishments in the area that serve alcohol, including the Muse, Duck Press, and Phil's.
Correct, yes.
And this location is only a few blocks from Town Hall, correct?
Yes.
And is it fair to say the area around Calf Bar is primarily commercial?
Mostly, yes, I would say.
Are there some residents in the area that you're aware of?
There are, behind the parking lot to our immediate right, there's a few apartments, but overall, it's, the church, dentist office.
And you've had no issues with any neighbors in your time there?
I have not.
And we did receive a special use permit or a variance a few years back. You didn't actually, but the the owner actually did for a parking variance. Is that fair to say?
Yes,
And you do have, unfortunately, limited parking in the area.
we do, other than the street parking and the commuter lot across the street, a little bit further down.
So primarily your parking is the street plus the commuter lot, and you're also available to use the Wakefield Elementary School. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And how's that?
I mean, it's a great addition. We actually just heard about it. Apparently that was something new, if I'm not mistaken, that was put in.
And regarding this application, there'll be no new lighting put on the business for this purpose.
No,
And security, have you had any particular security issues on site?
not at all. Again, our alcohol sales are not huge. We're primarily, a cafe during the day and light beer and wine.
And do you have specific security measures?
We do, in terms of making sure all of our staff are tip certified, making sure our exits are clearly marked. Other than that, everything, all the exits are properly lit.
And additionally, we did have a discussion with staff. There was some acoustic entertainment on site in the past few months, but that's ceased, is that correct?
Correct. We were doing some light acoustic in our window on Thursday evenings till 9 p.m., but just found out about the ordinance that was passed in January, so we ceased that immediately.
And if you do want to move forward with that in the future, we have to apply for another special use permit. We're not ready to do that right now.
Correct.
And you receive supplies from trucks and suppliers on a regular basis?
We do. We have probably 2 to 3 deliveries a week.
Any issues with the delivery areas or issues with that in general?
No.
And do you feel this additional space will have any effect on the general character of the area?
No.
And does it have any effect on noise or glare or odor in the adjoining lots?
No.
And again, no complaints from neighbors of the operation in full?
No.
And you have your own trash and storage areas?
We do.
And you have recycling bins?
Correct, for both trash and recycling.
And there's no changes in screening or buffering on site?
No.
No new signs?
No.
And there's limited open space or yard space because the lot is somewhat restricted, right?
Correct.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, not really. Just, we love being in business here on Main Street, and, we're very proud of our community, especially during COVID, that helped us keep going, so appreciate it.
We have nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. So the 62 seats, what were you coming from with the existing footprint that you were occupying? Did you have like 50?
We were about, I would say about like 35 to 40.
35, 40?
Our building occupancy was, by the fire marshal, was 60.
Was 60?
Correct.
Okay. And you're looking for 62?
Again, taking out the 2 bars, 2 seats at the bar.
Okay. Can we go more then, Jamie? Or do we have to cap it at 60?
Well, you can't go more than what the fire marshal posts.
Right.
Certainly. But I think relative to parking requirements, they'd be limited to shift existing seating into the new area, but to increase it beyond what was previously established, they'd be kind of constrained without seeking a variance for parking.
Meaning that the 60, if they just said 60, then we're okay. We don't have to ask they don't have to ask for a variance for parking.
Between the 2 spaces, correct?
Between the 2 spaces. And so we don't even need to know that they're using Wakefield Elementary or the lot across the street, per se.
I think it's good to know, but yeah, the commercial downtown allows a 50% reduction by what the zoning code requires for parking as well, so.
Right. So technically we previously identified 30 spots that are available in the area for this building?
No, not that I'm aware of. We don't have a parking plan showing that many, but correct me if I'm wrong, but you're already using this space, and it's the matter of the liquor service. Is that correct?
Right, so we're not expanding seats. We're just occupying more of the building and expanding the alcohol service to the greater part of the building. Right?
Correct.
Okay.
If there are no additional seats proposed, we don't need to, because what drives parking requirements for restaurants is seating capacity.
So 60.
So
we want
yeah.
it, so it's 60.
So parking, if they're not proposing additional seats beyond what they have now, then we don't need to consider parking.
Okay, so do we have to state 60 seats though? Knowing
Yes,
that that's the occupancy?
you should limit it to their you should fix the capacity. Because if they might come to the town later on requesting a capacity increase, they would need to either find additional off-street parking or request relief.
Okay. Okay. All right, board members, any questions for the applicant?
Just a couple.
Mr. Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a result, if the board approves this special use permit, do you need to go back to the council for additional modification of your liquor license?
I think we would have to go back, yes.
Okay. Second question I have is, do you have any violations, any police activity, anything that you've incurred in that direction since you've been granted that special use permit?
None, 0.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rosen?
What are your hours of serving alcohol?
After we've ceased the nighttime entertainment, currently we're only open until 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Okay. And when do you open?
We open during the week at 7:30, and then Saturdays and Sundays at 8 a.m.
And how much alcohol do you serve before 5 p.m.?
Not much at all.
Yeah.
Again, we're primarily a cafe, but if someone wants to get a turkey sandwich and have a beer, it's just nice to have for extra revenue.
So it's mainly beer that you serve?
Beer and some wine, not much.
Yeah. One other question. How are you getting along with your neighbors? There's a Chinese restaurant next door?
Satang.
Satang, yes.
Thai, yes. They're great. Never had an issue with them.
And there's parking in the liquor store behind you as well, but that's their parking, not your parking.
That is correct. And we have signs in our building letting our customers know to please use the street parking in the adjacent commuter lot across the street to not park in the parking lot.
And has there been any friction with either one of those properties as far as parking is concerned?
Not directly with me and the owner, no.
Okay. Presumably there's no problems with drunks or anything?
With what, I'm sorry?
Drunks.
Truck, no.
Trucks or drugs?
Drunks.
Drunks. Okay, not even close. Okay.
Not after 5 PM.
On that line, deliveries, you get them early, late? Is it something that needs to be coordinated, or is that a problem?
Again, our deliveries are quick. We have a coffee order from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. We have a Cisco order once a week, and we have a U.S. Foods order once a week.
And there's never really a problem
No,
to
they're in
accommodate?
and out. Again, they're in and out. It's not like we're unloading for a full restaurant. It's mostly pastries.
You're not double parking on the street or anything like that?
No. And when it comes to beer and wine, we get that order probably now once every 3 weeks.
Okay. Any other board members, questions for the applicant? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you want to add anything else, Mr. Callahan? Or you all set? Okay. Anyone in the audience want to speak on behalf of this petition, for or against? No? Okay. Any thoughts, board members? Seems very straightforward. They've been a good neighbor and a great business for downtown, so someone want to give it a shot? Mr. Rosen? You got a paper right in front of you.
You're calling upon me again. You'll have to wait one moment while I get my cheat sheets out here. Okay. Let me see here. This is a special use, right? Yeah, okay. Got the right paper.
Sorry, I touched you.
Okay. The petition presented by CAF Bar was read into the record by the chairman. And where is it? Okay. And I'm going to move approval of the petition with the following. The following individuals spoke as representatives of the applicant. Mr. Elias Boutros, the owner, spoke on behalf of the restaurant itself. James Callahan spoke as the lawyer on his behalf. There were no individuals that opposed this petition. There were no individuals from the audience that supported the petition. The materials that we have were read into the record by the chairman, and as a result, I would proceed forward. The board finds that the special use is not specifically authorized, is specifically authorized by this ordinance. Specifically, they're seeking alcohol use in the recently vacated space. They will be serving between 7:30 and 5 p.m. in the evening, and mainly beer will be served. They have 60 seats. Parking is not a problem. The board finds that the special use meets all the criteria set forth in the subsection of this ordinance authorized such special use, simply because it does meet the ordinances as presented as sections 504.18, 301, and 907. The board finds that the granting of the special use permit will not alter the general character of the surrounding area, which is commercial in the main, and this is a commercial entity, or impair the intent or purpose of this ordinance or the comprehensive plan of the town. In so doing, the board has considered whether or not satisfactory provisions and arrangements have been or will be made concerning, but not limited to, the following matters where applicable. Ingress and egress to the lot or the existing parking is provided. Off-street parking is a necessity. Loading areas are available and required. Trash storage, delivery areas, and particular references to items 1 and 2 that I just named are to be there. Utilities with reference to locations, availability, and compatibility also need to be taken into consideration. Screening, buffering, there's no screening or buffering necessary in this particular location. Signs shouldn't exceed the limits of what is placed in the ordinance. And as a result, I move the approval of this petition.
Motion was made by Mr. Rosen. Could I get a second? Second by Mr. Daniels. Any other discussion? The only thing is, you did mention the hours, but do the hours mean that they have to stop at 5, or it's just a mention that they're, at this point, they're going till 5?
It's up to the board. If you want, if you request that they be limited further, you can do that as a reasonable condition if you think it warrants it. If not, you can simply mention it as part of your findings of fact.
So what was your intent with that?
Just mentioning it as I did, and
Okay, not as a condition to say that they have to stop at 5?
no.
Okay.
Did we set the 60 limit?
Oh, there's 60,
60 person limit?
the 60-person capacity. So do you want to add to the motion to have a 60-person capacity?
I thought I did that. But
You did, okay, great. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Rosen?
aye.
Mr. Daniels? Mr. Peltier? Aye. Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck. Thank you very much. Next, we have the petition of Pease Awning and Sunroom of 25 James P. Murphy Industrial Highway of West Warwick, Rhode Island, 02893, for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a 10 by 15 sunroom attached to the existing family dwelling, single-family dwelling. In addition, will be located 14.8 feet from the rear property line. The required rear yard setback is 30 feet, therefore 15.2 feet relief is requested. The lot area covered by the building to be proposed is 28%. So the maximum lot coverage permitted is 25%, which means they're asking for an additional 3%. Lot size is 0.25 acres. The dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance, section 401, schedule of dimensional regulations, in section 907 or standards of relief. The owner of the property is Robin C. Urban Moses for premises located at 239 Sweet Allen Farm Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 48-1, Lot 10, and is zoned R20. Application 239 Sweet Allen Farm Road. And for this, we have the application signed with addendum and received March 13th, 2024. Owner authorization form signed and notarized March 12th. Proposed site plan prepared by Christopher G. Palmer, PLS, signed, stamped and dated February 16th, and the construction schematics, 5 pages. 200-foot of butters list and radius map, legal notices, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening.
Good evening.
And you are?
I'm Larry Handren from Pease Audio Company.
And spell your name for us, please.
Last name Handren.
Okay, and you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Always.
Excellent. So please tell us what you guys would like to do.
You pretty much just summed it up. We're seeking relief from the setback ordinance and the lot coverage percentage ordinance. They have a legal non-conforming lot. It's kind of an odd shape, and they do maintain a much larger area.
So why are they looking to expand? Like, what's the need for expansion?
Just to be able to get some enjoyment out of the backyard, the bug-free area. It's essentially an outdoor space now. They're just looking to keep it as an outdoor space, but with a screen room and the ability to close it up in the wintertime.
So it's currently like a hardscape that's on the, is it grass or is
Part of it's a deck and part of it's hardscaped, yes.
So, okay, so part of it was a deck.
Yeah.
And are they coming any closer to the sideline than they exist right now?
To the side? No.
Yeah, to the side?
Just continuing the back of the house.
Okay. And the deck is already a little bit farther than the proposed porch? The deck sticks farther to the back right now?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm not sure what you're asking me to be honest with you.
The deck is closer to the back of the yard right now than the proposed.
There's a deck on the back of the house now. The screen room, the sunroom would go a little bit beyond that, about 9 feet.
Oh, it is going beyond that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to, the site plan is,
The deck that's there now is essentially a walkway.
okay. Because there's stairs coming off of it, so is it like a ground-based deck, meaning? Like, I'm confused. So this deck is,
Please.
it's part of the structure, right? The deck,
I'm Tom Moses,
spell your last name?
MOSES, my wife's house.
You swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. And you are? What's your role in this? You're the owner?
My wife's the owner, I
Okay.
happen to live there.
You're lucky. We'll see how we do tonight.
Yeah, see, I might not after this.
So tell me about the deck.
The deck is conforming.
Can you speak into the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. The deck's conforming, there's no issues with the deck.
Right.
This is going on top of part of the deck, the deck is about 8 feet wide, this is about a depth of about 15.
Okay.
The reason, you asked for a question about the reason for the sunroom. The reason for the sunroom is, if you can't see the front of the house, but there's no windows in the way this house was built, there's very few windows in the front. The light in the winter comes across the backyard from the west, southwest, so putting sunroom there will get sun into the house in the winter. That's what the purpose is.
Okay. So you're going to open up that part of the house a little bit?
No, we're not, but the sunroom is really, because my wife works at home quite a bit, so she'll work in there and get the benefit of the sunlight. That's what that's for.
Okay. That's fair. All right. Anything else you want to add to it, or?
No, we love
pretty
South
much it.
Kingston, and we do a lot of work on this house and deal with Jamie often.
And, you realize that you're occupying a bit more space than you're allowed?
Yes, I do know that, and I also know that this whole subdivision has very odd-shaped lots, which I think in this day and age, the town probably wouldn't have approved these lots the way they're shaped. However, this is why you end up with these types of requests.
We need something to do on Wednesday nights.
Yes, exactly. No good TV on Wednesday night.
Okay. But you're only going a little bit over. You're
That's
going over
correct.
3%. Okay.
Yep.
Any other there is a shed in the back?
Yes.
Any other structures? No?
Nope.
Just a swing set?
Yep, that's just a swing set.
Okay. Board members, any questions for the applicant? Or the representative from Pease? Mr. Rosen?
Always questions, right?
Yeah.
The back of the property, there's just forest back there
That's right.
that I noted.
Yep.
Yeah, I talked to your neighbor, and there wasn't any objection from him. The footprint for the sunroom is essentially going to be over the deck, right, that's there?
That's correct. That's the height it'll be at the height of the deck.
The sunroom will be the height of the deck?
No, it'll be on top of the deck. That's
Right,
correct. Yep.
right. So how high is it going?
The deck there is only about 18 inches.
It's 2 steps.
It's 2 steps off the hardscape.
And what about the ceiling?
In the sunroom?
Yeah.
The height?
Lowest point of the walls, it'll be 7 feet. At the highest point, I believe it was 9.6.
Okay. And is it going to be screened in or glass or?
It'll be glass, and you can open it through screens.
Okay. And is it going to be well ventilated?
Yes.
50% of the wall can be screened at any given time.
Ah, good, okay. That's all the questions I have.
I just have a question, Mr. Gorman. Is this considered, this is considered an addition, right? I mean, so this, for all intents and purposes, this is an addition to the house?
Correct.
Okay. Meaning that it's not a deck or it's not seen as something else?
Yeah.
It's part of the house?
Yep.
So,
And to be clear, as part of this addition, we're actually tying the roofs together so that you won't have water leaks or any of those problems with doing this right.
excellent. Okay. Any other questions, board members of the applicant? No? Anything else to add? That's it? Okay. Thank you very much. We'll see if anybody wants to say something. Anybody out there want to speak on behalf of this petition for or against? Come on up. You already are. Come on up.
Hi,
Good evening. State and spell your name, please.
my name is Melissa Sullivan.
Okay.
L-L-I-V-A-N.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Excellent. So please go ahead.
So I'm a property abutter to
Okay.
the property. I live on Mulberry Drive. And I had mentioned, you had a question about the woodlands behind the property. And my understanding is that the buffer zone between, between Sweet Island Farm Road and Mulberry Drive is protected, that it's open space. And so I referred to the Town of South Kingstown Comprehensive Community Plan, and I have a map here showing that that area is protected open space. So my concern is that the addition is going to be infringing onto that open space, not just open woodland.
Okay. So we can find out how the land is designated for them and how close they're allowed to.
Unfortunately, this particular spot is almost the thinnest part of the open space between that neighborhood and my neighborhood.
Right.
So it's deeper the farther north you go and thins out. So I just wanted to point that out, that it is not just woodland.
Sure, that's actually conservation land.
Yeah, well, it's called, map 21 of the Town of South Kingstown Comprehensive Community Plan has it as protected open space.
Well, we can ask.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
All right, no problem. Mr. Gorman, are you aware of this?
I am. So if you refer to what I have up on the screen, this development is a flexible design residential development, which allows essentially open space is this portion right here behind all these properties, which is protected. It's not supposed to be developed or really disturbed, with the exception of light clearing of dead wood. So if you can see, this extends and meanders behind all these residential lots throughout this development. This is Sweet Island Farm. I'm not sure of the original name of the development, but this isn't unique. Each lot has the rear property, and you can see where many of the properties have, their lawns have kind of crept into that open space over time. So, but this is, she's correct, that it is designated open space.
And so what does that mean, open space? You're not allowed to cut or alter in any way? It can only stay as wild as it is?
Exactly, it's protected.
This comes up from time to time, and the planning department occasionally gets complaints from abutting property owners, not necessarily this subdivision, but in any subdivision, someone saying, my neighbor built a shed in protected open space, or they're, creating a wood pile. I know planning has limited resources to deal with enforcement issues, because there are many of these protected open space properties throughout the town. If that's an issue, it should be addressed by the property owner with the planning department.
So, and help me with this, with the site plan that we're looking at here. So this is where the fence is not necessarily their property line, or it is, and the conservation land cuts through their property?
So if you look up on the screen here, this solid line here is the property line. And then you can see that the fence extends beyond that. So this is actually within the open space.
But that's for the planning board to deal with?
I mean,
Or,
from zoning enforcement standpoint, certainly we can address, and perhaps the board this evening, we could make a condition if, that'd be addressed tonight.
So I know from inquiries in the past, this isn't the only property like this in South Kingstown that may have had an incursion onto open space. And as you know, also the GIS property lines aren't necessarily accurate to the same degree a survey is, but this is a survey. There may be an issue here. I think the property owner would be well advised to review this with the planning staff. Ultimately, just like zoning enforcement, it is, the planning department only has so many resources to respond to all the complaints.
so, Mr. Gorman, if you were to go out there and to approve this the sunroom, would you note, sort of like, is it your responsibility to sort of see the swing set in a shed? Well, not really.
Well, I'm not going to see the property line either, so a lot of the times, you know, if you go out and you see the aerial, it's tough to just distinguish that the property line is there when you're on site. Most oftentimes, unless if we're responding to a complaint, we have monumentation to verify or a survey in hand. We're not aware of it.
So, as part of our decision, are we allowed to create conditions that would alter the site?
You can't, you don't have that power. Whatever planning board decision approved this development way back when, they set the boundaries of the open space, and that's for them to enforce. And enforcement of the open space land and the restriction on that is within the purview of the administrative officer and the planning board ultimately. So I would suggest for this board, leave that as a matter to be addressed by the planning department, and the interested abutting property owner can certainly feel free to bring that to their attention, and I think the property owner would be well advised to contact the planning department as well.
Okay, so the fact that
Can I comment on this?
we,
I can help clear this up.
yep, hang on a second. Oh geez, now I lost my train. Come on up.
So,
Help us out.
my wife bought this house about 20 years ago. This site condition was exactly as it is now.
Sure.
So that's how she bought it 20 years ago. There's a paved area in the back, and the fence was already up.
Sure.
So, there are issues like this throughout, as you did, you know, your viewing of it. It's like this all over the whole subdivision.
Right.
It's been brought to the town's attention.
Okay.
And it's been discussed, but it still continues. I mean, people continue to do it everywhere. So it's an enforcement issue. It really is not an issue that we're asking relief for.
Right, you're
Or
not
within
asking
our
for
way.
relief to do anything
That's
on this
correct.
property
No, we're not.
that is inappropriate at this time.
Thank you.
Okay. So, where'd you go? I don't know if that sort of satisfies us. I mean, because clearly this is inside their property line.
Let me say this also, it's is there an HOA for this subdivision?
Yes, there
It's potentially also a matter that the homeowners association for this subdivision can look into on their own, because they also have enforcement authority with regard to the open space area, because it's the HOA that is legally responsible for compliance with the restrictions on against development in the open space area. So, I mean, this is also a matter that can be addressed with the HOA.
Right, right, because there are no real police powers to this. There's nobody coming in with bulldozers and restoring conservation land. Okay. But this request is to the property line. The request of the 15 or 14.8 feet is based on the property line, not based on the stockade fence or any other structures on the lot.
That's correct,
Or
Mr. Chairman.
outside of the lot. Okay. Does that make sense, everybody? Good with that? Okay.
Can we call Ms. Sullivan back up?
Sure. If she's want to come up?
Yeah. You said you're in a butter.
Yes.
Which direction? Are you on the same side of the street,
No, I'm west of them,
west of them?
so I'm
but
behind them.
Behind them.
My property has the open space, and then they're to the east of that.
So on this map up here,
Oh,
you're
sorry.
either 169 or 179?
179.
179, okay.
Which is, which one?
Right there.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what I was looking at when I was there. Okay.
Now, mind you, the yellow lines are not exact, but
Yeah.
they're,
Right, there are old stone walls all
Yeah.
through there that are, you know,
Thank you.
tall, high, yeah.
yeah, okay.
Mr. Gorman,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I assume there are other properties in this subdivision that are in this similar situation with fences, et cetera.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the same thing in my neighborhood, I might have. So, okay.
All Anyone else out there want to speak on behalf of this petition, for or against? No? Okay. Board members, any discussion on this? Any thoughts? Concerns? Otherwise?
Did we ask for, oh, yes, we did. Opposition and...
Yep. Ms. Sullivan is part of it. Or questions? Yes. Okay. Someone want to make a motion, or do you want to? Do you want to do it? You want me to do it?
Why don't you go, Tom? I'll do the next one. Already?
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. This is a petition of P zoning and sunroom on behalf of the owner of the property, who is Robin C. Urban Moses, and the property is located at 239 Sweet Allen Farm Road in South Kingstown. The application and the documentation was entered into the record by the chairman. The following individuals spoke on behalf of the petition. Mr. Hanron from P Zonings spoke on the addition that is proposed, and the owner, Mr. Moses, spoke about the need for the addition. There was no individuals speaking in opposition to the request. Ms. Sullivan, however, Melissa Sullivan appeared to indicate some issues with open space and the property lines in this neighborhood, and has been advised that this is a planning board issue, and that's where that particular concern should go forward. Again, the materials were entered into the record and identified by the chairman. Board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure, and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area, and is not due to physical or economic disability of the applicant. Because it is a unusually shaped lot, the applicant wishes to expand their living area to achieve some more sunlight by the installation and construction of a sunroom on the western side of the property, and therefore that requires some relief. They are seeking relief of 15.2 feet from the rear setback, and the lot area in this zone in R20 is a maximum of 25%. This will expand the structure to 28%, so therefore they're requesting 3% additional lot coverage as well. The board finds the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant, because nothing has been done on the property without the proper approvals, and that's why the applicant is here tonight. The board finds that the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive community plan upon which the ordinance is based, because these are all single-family homes in the neighborhood. Lot sizes are similar. Many over the years have had additions and added decks and so forth, and this is a simple request to add some additional living space. The board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner, if the dimensional variance is not granted, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience, meaning that the relief sought is minimal to a reasonable enjoyment of the permitted use which the property is proposed to be devoted, because the testimony supports that the owner wishes to open up the building to more sunlight and to achieve more living space, and that is certainly something that the owner is entitled to with the proper approvals. There are no conditions on this approval. Therefore, I would ask that the board grant approval.
Motion was made by Mr. Daniels. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hicks. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Daniels? Ms. Hicks? Mr. Pelletier? Aye. Mr. Rosen? Aye. Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck, guys.
Thank you very much.
No problem. All right, next we have the petition of Ms. Ann Hathaway of 931 Kingstown Road, Wakefield, Rhode Island, 02879 for a dimensional variance. Under the zoning ordinance as follows, the applicant is seeking to construct a detached accessory apartment measuring 18.5 feet in height. The maximum accessory building height permitted is 15 feet, therefore a 3-foot 6-inch relief is requested. Lot size is 0.46 acres. Dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance, section 401, Schedule of Dimensional Regulations, and section 907, Standards of Relief. The owner of the property is Ms. Ann Hathaway for premises located at 931 Kingstown Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 49-4, Lot 110, and is zoned R20. For this, we have the application signed and dated December 13th, 2023. Owner authorization form signed and notarized December 14th, 2023. Boundary surveyed by Chari Jackson, PE and PLS. Signed, stamped, and dated October 2023 and revised November 29th, 2023. Construction schematics of S1, S2, A1, A2, A3, prepared by Ocean State Drafting and dated September 26, 2023. 200-foot abutters list and radius map, legal notices, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Could you state and spell your name, please?
Yes, Ann Hathaway, Hathaway.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So, Ms. Hathaway, please tell us what you'd like to do.
So we've already built the dwelling for my 84-year-old mom. And in order for it to comply, the roof lines need to connect. So what I'm asking is to not connect the two buildings on the property. I brought some pictures if you'd like to see.
Yeah, sure.
So this is the building. The garage door will come in on Friday. And as you can see, this is the roof line, and this is the piece that is too big for the town.
And I can mark those, Jessica? What should I mark it as? Sorry. I can mark all of them, just one? Okay.
This photo shows going into the backyard, and if we connect the two buildings,
So, if I can back you up for a sec. So the idea is that it's right now it's an accessory dwelling, right? So it's not connected to the building, so it has to be under the 15 feet. And in order for you to be compliant, you're either going to get a variance or you can connect the buildings and not have one.
Correct.
Right? So, and you're saying now it's a little difficult to connect it to because the roof lines weren't even designed to talk to each other, and you're kind of trying to make them connect. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
And we put the loft in because I sold her house. She had a 4-bedroom house. I sold her stuff. I stored her stuff. And now we need a place for her stuff. Right now she's at South Bay Manor, waiting to move into her new apartment. And I thought the loft was a really good idea. I didn't realize at the time that I was going to go over the height.
Right.
And so, connecting right there.
How many feet is that about? It's like over 20 feet or so?
I don't know.
It looks like it's far. It's not close.
It's not close. So here it is here.
Yep.
This is the door to my home, and we have to connect this one to this one, and just blocking the whole backyard, basically.
Right. Or you can be here and ask for permission to keep them separate. Okay. All right. Excellent. And you're okay if we hang on to these? Okay. So basically, if you, this was a plan that was presented to you, and what was the design based on? Was it based on any existing, like your existing architecture? Were you trying to make it be in kind to what you already have on the property?
Absolutely. It's a new build for sure, and my house was built in 1860. So it's difficult to do that. But I think we did a really nice job making it fit into the neighborhood, into the village, and the character that I appreciate.
Yep.
And I also believe that we did a good job creating a space that will be healthy for my mom and being able to store her stuff, at least 5 or 6 generations of stuff we've gone through. And it's a very difficult thing to do, to try to take care of the elderly in our community. You go from a big home to an apartment.
Absolutely. And everything else complies?
Everything complies. And I do have the building plan. If you'd like to look at it, and you can actually see it. I know what I printed off is, you have copies of it, but I also have the full size if you'd like to look at it.
But like I said, you were trying to match roof lines, match the pitch, so so they aesthetically they kind of work together on the property,
Absolutely.
right?
Making the whole thing fit.
So you couldn't have put in a building that has a flat roof?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, I mean, there's mill houses in that neighborhood.
And the 18.5 feet, is it a 2-story or 1.5 kind of? Do you live on the second floor
So
as well?
it's 2 stories. There's 2 bedrooms upstairs and a full bath.
Yep, so it's a usable second floor.
It is.
Okay. Members, any questions? Mr. Rosen?
The reason that you had to exceed the 15 feet is because you had that second story put in there, right?
We put a loft in for storage. The garage that you'll see in the first photo replaced my garage. So at this point, I don't have a lot of storage. And so she can't use that for storage. That's for my stuff. And so we put the loft in for her things. So right now, she's living in an apartment with her things, and I have a pod full of things with no place to put. So we decided to go with the loft.
Okay. That was my understanding. I was out there. It's a very nice.
Thank you.
I understand it's not insulated yet, so she's not living there,
She's
correct?
living at South Bay Manor or Brookdale right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In your application, you mentioned that you had to put in a walkway between the ADU and your house.
That's what I'm hoping not to do.
Oh, that's what you're
Hoping not to do, yeah.
Covered walkway.
Yes.
Oh, that was the connector.
The
Right.
connector.
Yeah, they don't want to have a covered walkway, which would make it no longer an accessory because it would be touching.
And so it's a place where I could not seek refuge from the rain, right?
No, they'd kick you off the property.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board members? Nope. Okay. It seems real straightforward. I think, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. You want to add anything else?
No, thank you very much for your time, for considering.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. And my daughter said I have to be nice.
Thank you. She's the gem.
She's a good kid. Is there anyone out there that wants to speak on behalf of this petition, for or against? Nope. Okay, any other thoughts about this? Ideas? It seems pretty straightforward. It matches the existing building. They're making use of the 2 floors, so.
I guess I'll make the motion.
Excellent, please.
Okay, I move approval of the position of Anne Hathaway, who appeared before us on this evening, to increase the height and over what the ordinance says should be there, from 15 to 18 feet. And she's also seeking relief from having to have a covered walkway as well. Anne Hathaway spoke before us this evening. The chairman read into the record the petition itself, which covered ordinances, where is it? 401 and 907. There were no individuals that spoke for or against this petition. The materials that we have on record was also entered by the chairman, and as a result, I move approval of this petition, and the board finds that the hardship from what the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and not the general characteristics of the surrounding area. You're going to become bored with all of this later on, I'm sure, and is not due to the physical or economic disability of the applicant, accepting those physical disabilities addressed in 45, 24, 30, paren 16. Mainly because this is an ADU that is going to be used for her elderly mother. I didn't ask how old the mother is, but I'm sure she's 84. Oh, about my age.
It's not old.
It's not old, no, but I didn't imply that at all. But she is living in housing right now that is not suitable for her. She's going to have a second story where she can store her stuff, and that is the reason that the height has had to be raised. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant. The house is, the main house is very old. The garage was there. The garage is not going to be able to be utilized by the occupant of the ADU because it'll be used by the main occupant of the main house, which happened to be Anne Hathaway herself. And as a result, it was necessary to build this ADU and put it at 18 feet. The board finds that the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan upon which the ordinance is based. Because I was out there, it looks like it fits right in with the neighborhood as such. It's very attractive, I might add, and I think that Anne has done a very nice job. The board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if dimensional variance is not granted, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience, meaning that relief sought is minimal to a reasonable enjoyment of the permitted use to which the property is proposed to be devoted, because it's her mother. What more is there to say? I move approval of this petition.
Thank you, Mr. Rosen. Can I get a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Peltier. Any other comments? Nope. Hearing none. Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Mr. Peltier?
Aye.
Mr. Daniels?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks? Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck. Thank you. Okay. Next, we're going to hear the petition of Kerry and Donna McDonough of 27 Meadows Street of Wakefield, Rhode Island, 02879 for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a two-story addition and a one-story deck attached to a single-family dwelling. The addition will be located 21.7 feet from the property line. The required front yard setback is 35 feet, therefore a relief of 13.3 feet is requested. Lot size is 0.7 acres. The dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance, Section 401, Schedule of Dimensional Regulations, and Section 907 are standards of relief. The owners of the property are Kerry and Donna McDonough for premises located at 27 Meadow Street, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 87-2, Lot 93, and is zoned R20. For this application, we have it signed and dated March 18th of this year. Owner authorized form signed and notarized March 18th, 2024. Determination of applicability from the Town of South Kingstown Department of Public Services dated February 21st. Proposed sewage disposal system prepared by Eugene F. Spring, PE, signed, stamped, and dated March 23rd, 2023. Limited content boundary survey prepared by Daniel F. Harrington, PLS, signed, stamped, and dated February 8th. Construction documents A11, E1, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, prepared by John W. Silva Design and Build LLC, and dated March 5th of this year. 200-foot abutters list and radius map, legal notices, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening.
Good evening.
And you guys are?
Hello, everybody, and thanks for the opportunity. Oh, do we have to spell our names?
Yes, state and spell your names, please.
Kerry, K-E-R-R-Y, McDonough, M-C-D-O-N-O-U-G-H.
Okay.
And Donna McDonough, M-C-D-O-N-O-U-G-H.
And you guys both swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, and go for it.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. So the reason why we're here, as Robert talked about, is a dimensional a frontal variance for a property that we own, that we just moved to, the plan is to retire there. We moved there in June. We have big families on both sides, so what we're looking to do is to put an addition on that could accommodate the size of both families for holidays, get-togethers, July 4th, Labor Day, those types of things, and it would suit our retirement needs perfectly. So the current frontal setback is 9.6 feet. What we're looking to build, something that has a frontal setback of 21.6 feet. The current zoning requirement of frontal setback is 35 feet. So as was mentioned, the dimensional variance that we're looking for is 13.3 feet in order to accommodate the proposed addition.
So they barely cut your house when they set it within the setbacks?
Yeah,
They cut half the house.
I think they built it so long ago that I believe the zoning has changed in the R20. I don't know if it was the 1995 change, but this was, built like in the 1930s. And so I'm sure things were much different back then. Yeah.
So tell me why you can't go, how come you can't stay within the conformance area? Like, why can't you go back?
We can't go back because we did put the OWTS septic system in there in May of 2023. So we would infringe upon that. Beyond that, there's wetlands that abut the Bliss. It's really unbuildable back that far. And so this, if we went to the right or the left, we would be dealing with the same thing, the same setback dimensional variance. So
right.
That's the real reason why we chose the left, because we think it looks, in the street facing the house, we think the left looks better. So.
As opposed to the right? Because really, it seems like it wouldn't have really mattered.
It's basically the same, because we'd still be deviate the 35 feet, the frontal setback.
Because it looks like the house is pretty much in the center of the lot.
It is. It's maybe a slightly left, but it's definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, board members, questions for the applicant?
So, just clarification, it looks like the existing home is 19.6 feet, so that's actually within 35 foot setback, so a variance must have been requested at some point there, or before the zoning went in, something like that?
If it was, it sounds like the house was built prior to the zoning.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
like built in the 30s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions, board members? Mr. Rosen?
Just one statement.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got the floor.
It needs it.
You went by it, okay.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes.
Wow. Is that a compliment, or is that like a...
No, he's being correct. He's being honest. And that's why we're here.
Excellent. Okay. Any other changes to the rest of the building? Everything's staying the same? You're just sort of putting this addition onto the, is that the west?
West, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Any other board members, questions? No? Okay. You guys want to add anything else?
No, well, thanks for
Don't need
listening
to.
to us. You guys got a long night, so we'll sit down.
Yeah, no problem. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone out there want to speak on behalf of this petition for or against? Again, seems real straightforward. It doesn't seem like that there were many options in terms of direction. The house was already built before we had zoning, so it doesn't sound like that there was anything to conform to at that time. It's a nice sized lot, so seems reasonable. Okay. Any other thoughts, board members? No problems? Okay. Someone want to make a motion, or is that going to be me? Yeah, go for it. No problem.
Give me a second to dig out the papers. And read it. Okay. Okay, this evening we heard the petition of Carrie and Donna McDonough requesting a dimensional variance for their property at 27 Meadow Street, Wakefield. Both Carrie and Donna McDonough spoke as representatives, and we heard from no one else, either in support of the request or in opposition to the request. You were advised of all of the materials that we received for the application. And so the board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area, and is not due to a physical or economic disability of the applicant, excepting those physical disabilities addressed in Section 45, 24, 30, 16, because basically this was a property, a home built prior to zoning regulations, and the applicants have found that they need more space. And so they're asking for the variance to construct this addition to their property. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant. Again, the house was built, what did you say, in the 1930s? Yeah, prior to zoning, and in order to add on to it, because of the characteristics of the piece of property, they're going to need a variance. The board finds that the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan upon which the ordinance is based. And I did go out there to take a look at the property, and I found that the house and the addition that you're proposing certainly is within the character of all the houses on your street and in your neighborhood. The board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if the dimensional variance is not granted, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience, meaning that relief sought is minimal to a reasonable enjoyment of the permitted use to which the property is proposed to be devoted because, and again, you simply need more space. So I am requesting that the board approves their application for a dimensional variance.
Thank you, Ms. Higgs. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Daniels. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Daniels?
Aye.
Mr. Pelletier?
Aye.
Mr. Rosen? Aye. Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Everybody need a break, or you doing okay? All right. So next we have the petition of Gaspy Real Estate Partners of 333 Main Street, Suite 200, East Greenwich, Rhode Island, 02818 for a dimensional variance and a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a new roof line on the existing structure located 24.6 feet from the property line. The requested front setback is 40, therefore a relief of 15.4 feet is requested. The establishment is also, wait a minute. Sorry. The applicant is also seeking to establish an accessory drive-up window, use code 58, associated with the proposed fast food establishment. Lot size is .48 acres. The dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance, section 204D, building or structure non-conforming by dimension. The special use permit is required per section 301, schedule of use regulations, and section 907 are standards of relief. Owner of the property is Gansett Group SK LLC for the premises located at 60 Old Tower Hill Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 57-2, Lot 71, and is zoned commercial highway. For this application, we have signed and dated March 20th, 2024, the application. Owner authorization form signed and notarized March 15th. Development plan review, advisory of zoning, 4 pages, granted February 15th, 2024, and recorded in the South Kingstown Land Evidence on the February 28th. Book 1875 in pages 381 to 384. Proposed site plan documents C0101, C102, C201, C301, C401, C501, C601, C602, 6701, C702, 703, 901, 902, 903, and 904. So there's a few pages. Prepared by Bowler Engineering and stamped and signed by Joshua G. Swirling, and last revision date of March 15th of this year. Existing conditions, 1 page, prepared by Norbert A. Theron and dated April 2018. Concept renderings of 6 pages prepared by McGeorge Architecture Interiors. 200-foot abutters list and radius map, legal notices, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name is John C. Revens, Jr. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Revens, St. Pierre and Wiley, located at 946 Centerville Road in Warwick. Thank you for your consideration of our application tonight. The applicant is seeking a special use permit to allow the addition of a pickup window to accommodate mobile order pickups. The applicant's proposed pickup window will be used solely for picking up orders placed in advance and not the traditional drive-through service. So there is no menu board, there is no speaker system, there is no queuing up in a line and looking at the menu for 30 seconds or 8 minutes and then ordering what you want and pulling up and picking it up. It's all pre-ordered. And the applicant is also seeking dimensional relief for less than required front yard setback. And the only reason we have to ask for that relief is there's a new roof line being proposed for the building. So to actually bring that roof line up, it makes the facade larger. We're not moving it any closer to the street, but it requires dimensional relief. So we're only here for those 2 reasons. Prior to getting here, this application was reviewed, as you know, by the Technical Review Committee and by the Planning Board. And the Planning Board made the following findings of fact: that the special use meets all of the criteria set forth in the subsection of the ordinance authorizing such special use. The granting of the special use permit will not alter the general character of the surrounding area, impair the intent or purpose of this ordinance, or the comprehensive plan of the town. And they also, after making that finding, they added a condition of approval, that the approval is conditioned on obtaining the special use permit for the accessory drive-up window from the zoning board. And the planning board further found in their decision of approval that they made a favorable recommendation to you to allow the accessory use, and they found that that accessory use meets all the requirements of the town's ordinance. With me this evening is the engineer for the project, Randy Myron, and 2 of the principals of Gatsby Partners who own the property. This proposal, as you've reviewed the plans and looked at it, is a significant upgrade to the condition of the building that's there now, and they're actually going to demolish a portion of the building, which isn't part of the relief that we're seeking tonight, but it's actually going to be somewhat smaller than what exists on the premises. If you have any specific questions, you've had a long night tonight, Mr. Myron will be happy to answer them for you. If you have any questions for the owners, they'll be happy to step forward and testify and answer any questions that you might have.
I'm sorry, did you mention they're fine with all the planning board's recommendations? And
well, the planning board already voted to approve it, and we accepted all of those conditions at the time of the approval.
Okay. Okay. Board members, questions so far? No?
Just one.
Yes, Mr. Rosen.
I'd be disappointed, Mr. Rosen, if you didn't have one. I'd feel left out. Just kidding.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is going to be a Chipotle?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. That's the plan.
And like you said, now that you're making the overhangs bigger than the 1 foot, is it, or so that's allowed? They need to ask, that's why we need to ask for the setback, right?
But I believe they're removing, well, there's not much of a roof there left, but they're extending it vertically, making it a gable. I think there's a design I can scroll to.
So it's going up higher, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, so it's the height, not the out?
Because you got a roof line, let's say here, and this is the front of this, is the street. Once you go up, we got to ask for permission. If we kept the roof line the same, we wouldn't have to ask for a front yard setback relief. But the building isn't moving, and that roof line isn't coming out toward the street. It's just going up, as I understand it. I mean, maybe it goes out a few inches, but as you look at the rendering, it's up on the screen now.
And they're going to reuse the existing frame?
Yes, sir.
Just, cool, okay.
Yep. They're going to work with what's there, but make it a little smaller.
Yeah.
And the landscaping will be better than what's there now. The drainage will be better. Everything will be enhanced as part of the redo.
Okay. Ms. Hicks?
Okay, I have one quick question for you. It's the traffic pattern that cars will come in, looking at the picture to the right of the building as we're looking at it, circle around behind the building, and then there'll be the one pickup window
Correct.
on what would be the left, looking at the picture that disappeared.
Exactly,
Okay.
correct. Right, and it's a pickup window when you pre-order. So it's different than what we're used to in the more traditional drive-throughs where you order in the line. This is all order in advance.
No, I understand that.
Right.
Curious what the traffic pattern would be.
Right.
So it's circle around behind the building.
Exactly. That's to make sure, as you know, that there's enough of a queue, and the queue is much faster in this type of an operation than it would be when people can just spur of the moment decide they want to turn in and drive up to the drive-through window. They've got to order ahead of time. So it's always a much smaller queue. But that's why the reason they did that. Yes? Mr.
Will there be seating inside as well?
Yes, sir.
So you can eat within the restaurant itself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Certainly a heck of a lot better looking than what's there.
It'll be a big improvement. It's been a long time since that structure was dressed up.
And it's not uncommon to have a U-shaped access for a property, or for a business on that road.
It's what fits with the site. You've got site constraints because the parcel's only about 21,000 square feet. You've got an existing structure, so you've got to deal with those site constraints.
Right.
As well.
Does that mean there's another curb cut and all that, too?
I think the curb cuts,
I think that,
we're maintaining them. They exist.
there is one on the right? Okay. I got to pay more attention.
There's one on the right.
Okay, cool.
And it needs a RIDOT permit,
yeah.
which we already have.
Okay. I don't know why you can't reuse that.
Yeah, we already have the physical alteration permit from RIDOT.
Oh, great.
We don't have it, but we've submitted for the RIDOT permit. And we need that to get the building permit.
Okay.
Is the testimony or the argument that the curb cuts will remain the same, won't be enlarged?
Just so I don't make a mistake, Mr. Daniels, if you don't mind, I'll have the engineer come up. Randy, can you raise your
Appreciate
right
that.
hand?
Just state your name and spell it, please.
Randy Myron, M-I-R-O-N, with Bowler Engineering.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
So please go ahead and explain.
So there's two existing curb cuts. They're both wider than DOT's geometrical standards, so DOT is asking us to tighten them up to both 20 feet in width. So we'll continue to maintain. The one on the right is enter only. The one on the left is exit only. We're going to continue to maintain that counterclockwise circulation around the site.
Okay. So it's going to maintain the sort of what the site has traditionally been?
Correct. Correct.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, board members? Okay. Do you want to
Thank you.
add anything else?
No, I think that covers it. You've had a lot of territory to cover tonight, so I don't want to prolong this anymore. And I don't want Mr. Callahan to get mad at me because he wanted to get home early tonight, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman. So
well, you
I
know.
assured him I wouldn't talk too long.
We'll try not to drag this out then. Anyone out there want to speak on behalf of this? Make an order? What? Or against? No? Come on up. Just state your name and spell it, please.
My name is Yan, and the last name Liu.
And swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, I'm telling the truth.
Okay, and bring down the mic a little bit.
Excuse me. Could you state your name again, please?
Yan, Y-U-N.
Y-U-N? Okay. Please, go ahead.
Hi, so we are kind of like the business on the cross street, so it's very close to them. So when they do a drive-through, we have a right side, have a McDonald's, Burger King, and we have a Taco.
Yep.
So it's on the right of the side. So if they do a drive-through on the left, so we are kind of be jack in the middle. So would they have any like a traffic backup if they don't have a like a light, traffic light?
Meaning that the lights will be coming right at you guys?
Yeah.
Is the concern?
Yeah, I mean, are they gonna be have a like traffic if they have an in-out? So, because the traffic lights are so close to that area also.
The traffic, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the traffic light goes straight on the right, I think. Yeah.
That there? I'm not sure what you, it's okay, just tell me again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, so we're on the middle, so if they in and out a lot, or they have a lot of traffic back out in the middle.
I mean, they don't have a traffic expert here per se, but it doesn't sound like that it would be any more than the previous business in terms of activity. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
is it going to be so much activity that we're going to need
Like
more
it-
traffic controls,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
another light there or something like that?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I hope not. I mean, they've spent so much time on this road.
Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't think so, but I think if, obviously, if down the road, down the line, there is some issues in terms of flow, then the state would have to be involved, because it's not a town road per se, it's a state road. So I think if you're seeing that there are particular concerns, it would be more, I mean, it just doesn't seem like that these guys would be generating so much traffic
Okay, that's all.
per se. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. No, wait, board members, any questions of this witness? No? Thank you. Does that make sense? Did I didn't misrepresent what you guys are doing there? I mean, I think you're not changing the flow, you're not expecting any more numbers than typical of a restaurant for that street.
That's correct. I mean, the existing building is 3,300 square feet, and we're going down to a 2,400 square foot building. So there's a 900 square foot decrease that's being chopped off in the back.
Right.
So there would be a decrease in traffic when
And
compared.
probably a decrease in that, in sit-down activity as opposed to the previous restaurant.
Yes.
But she did mention, I mean, more people will be coming through, perhaps, but it doesn't sound like there's a concern on your part.
There isn't, and DOT hasn't asked for any of that information, so, and we've gone through a couple rounds of comments with them as part of the driveways, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else out there? Concerns or thoughts for or against? No?
Mr. Chairman, I will just comment that the planning board decision in part indicated that the project provides safe and sufficient automotive and pedestrian safety and convenience, traffic flow and control, and emergency access as it relates to ingress and egress to the site and associated structures. So I would have to be under the impression that the planning board heard some testimony on traffic issues and increased traffic issues in order to make that finding.
Right. So it's been through both boards to kind of vet that. Okay. And being that this is this our first combined special use and dimensional? It might be.
Since January 1st, I guess it is.
So when we make this decision, we have to reference both?
You do. So you have to pull out both templates. You can do the special use permit first.
Okay.
You can make one motion, one vote on both motions, or you can do separate votes.
Would we wouldn't split, like,
One couldn't exist, well, I think, as it's presented, it's being presented as a package deal.
right. So we're not, you couldn't really split it because it really wouldn't make sense for them to.
In this case, no, unless the board members have any specific concerns. I think this one is a relatively straightforward combination application.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions, board members? No comments otherwise?
I just have one comment.
Of course you do.
While I don't have any objection to this particular application, I just wonder how many more fast food restaurants are coming into the area in the future. We've already got a number there. And so that's just one comment.
Yeah.
That means absolutely nothing.
Well, just a comment, some towns do distinguish between fast food and non-fast food. I don't think we have that distinction in our zoning ordinance. Something to
Think about, yes.
something to consider, suggesting to the planning board if that's a concern.
Okay, I'll make that suggestion.
Any other comments? No? Okay. Everybody else okay out there? All right. Someone want to give it a shot, or am I? Okay.
This is the first time.
Give it a shot. Go for it. Yeah.
For property located at 60 Old Tower Hill Road, Assessors Map 57-2, Lot 71. The application was read into the record by the chairman. The documentation that was entered into the record has been identified. And just a comment, you're going to make a lot of URI students very, very happy, and a lot of high school students very, very happy, and good luck. Anyway. The following individuals spoke. The Attorney John Revens appeared for the applicant, and we took brief testimony from the architect, and I'm sorry, but your name's in the record, and we won't forget that you testified. There was no one that spoke in opposition to the request. There was some concern by Ms. Yu, who is a principal in the operation across the street, concerned about the headlights and the traffic in and out of the facility. But based on what the planning board has seemed to have found, and obviously must have taken some testimony on traffic issues, the board finds that that's nothing to be deeply concerned about with regard to this application. The board finds that the special use permit is specifically authorized by this ordinance because under section 301, Schedule of Use Regulations, and 905, the standards of relief, this is a dimensional variance, or I should say a special use permit, and it is permitted under the ordinance, providing that we grant a special use permit. It is in a commercial highway district, and this type of establishment and building is allowed in that area. The board finds that the special use meets all the criteria set forth in the subsection of this ordinance, authorizing such special use because they have appeared before the planning board and indicated what their intention is at a full hearing, and that the planning board has approved this and passed it on to us for our our approval as required under the ordinance. Ingress and egress to the lot was discussed in the planning board decision and has been discussed here this evening. Off-street parking was also discussed under the planning board's ordinance, and we accept all the planning board's requirements and their decision as presented to us. We'll make one note: there were 15 conditions, and there has been testimony and position stated that the applicant intends to meet all those 15 conditions that were established by the planning board. And those include trash and storage and delivery areas. I think there was a recommendation to move some dumpsters and so on and so forth in those recommendations. Utilities are not changing on this particular application. Screening and buffering was discussed in brief in the planning board decision, and I believe they indicated some additional cleanup of the areas and landscaping of the areas in front and so forth. There was also some signage recommendations to remove the tower sign and place it at ground level. And again, that's all covered in the planning board decision, which is part of the board's decision here tonight. This is certainly in general compatibility with the lots in the same zoning district, because there are a number of restaurants and food delivery establishments in the area. Specifically, the request for the drive-up window is a dimensional request. Is that correct? That's a dimensional request, and that'll be covered subsequently.
Special use permit for the
It is
drop-off.
on, it's special use? Okay, okay. So the applicant is requesting a drive-up window, and the testimony supports the fact that it will be for pickup only and not for ordering. And the curb cuts have been discussed. There's an ingress and egress, and both of those will be reduced to meet the minimums or the maximums established by the Rhode Island DOT. So they are requiring the accessory drive-up window under Use Code 58, and that does require the approval of this board under the special use permit. With that said, there are no conditions from this board, but again, I stress that the planning board did have 15 conditions, and they will be part of this approval by this board. So I would move approval at this point of the special use permit.
Motion is made by Mr. Daniels. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Rosen. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Daniels?
Aye.
Mr. Rosen? Aye. Mr. Pelchier? Aye. Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. The special use passes.
Okay. This is an application by Aspie Real Estate Partners for property located at 60 Tower Hill Road, Assessors Map 57, Lot 2, and this is a request for a dimensional variance, which is required for the front setback of 40 feet is code. Relief of 15.4 feet is requested. Because of the roof line going up and extending. The building footprint itself is not being extended. The same folks spoke in regard to this petition, and there was no opposition to the request. The materials that were entered into the record have been identified by the chairman and are part of the record of this board. The board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area, and is not due to a physical economic disability of the applicant. Again, the roof line is being extended to a great degree to improve the visibility and improve the overall structure, and integrity of the structure. So therefore, under the ordinance, a dimensional variance is required. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant, because they've taken all steps to get planning board approval and are here tonight to get approval, and nothing has taken place on the site without these approvals. The board finds the granting of the variance will not alter the general characteristic of the surrounding area or the intent and purposes of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan upon which the ordinance is based. Once again, because this is an area of commercial highway, there are restaurants and food service establishments throughout the area, and this is a major improvement to this particular location and will provide some additional service for those people seeking a alternative food choice in the area. The board finds the hardship suffered by the owner if the dimensional variance is not granted amounts to more than a mere inconvenience, meaning that relief sought is minimal to a reasonable enjoyment of the permitted use to which the property is proposed to be devoted, because the dimensional variance is really involved with the raising of the roof and is required under the ordinance. There is nothing that's going to change about the footprint of the structure, except that it's going to be a heck of a lot better looking than the existing structure today. So with that, I would ask that the approval be granted.
Motion is made by Mr. Daniels. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hicks. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Daniels? Aye. Ms. Hicks? Mr. Peltier? Aye. Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. See you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we have the petition of Mr. Harrison Bell, 45 High Street, Wakefield, Rhode Island, 02879, for a dimensional variance. Under the zoning ordinance as follows: the applicant is seeking to convert an existing two-story detached garage into 3 apartments with living spaces on both stories. The CD Commercial Downtown Zoning District prohibits residential dwelling units on the first floor. Lot size is 0.41 acres. A dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance section 402, which is notes to schedule of dimensional regulations, in section 907 of standards of relief. Owner of the property is Bell Capital LLC for premises located at 45 High Street, South Kingstown. Assessors map 48-3, lot 147, and is zoned CD. For this application, we have the application with the cover letter signed and received March 19th of this year. Owner authorized form signed and notarized June 13th, 2023. Rendering, which is 1 page. Landscape plan P10, prepared by Mather and Page and dated September 26, 2023. Existing condition plans and proposed parking plan, 2 pages, prepared by American Engineering, Inc., stamped by Matthew J. Cotta and dated September 13th, 2023. 200-foot abutters list and radius map, legal notices, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening.
Hello, Mr. Chair. Thank you for your time again tonight. James Callahan, and Callahan, 3 Brown Street. With me and on behalf, I'm here on behalf tonight with Harrison Bell of Bell Capital to my right. We're here tonight on a project located at 485 High Street, about 3/4 of a mile north of here. It's a nice project in the Peacedale area. Harry is proposing to convert an existing garage in the northeast corner of the lot, which is the top right of your map, into 3 apartments. We've received approval for both the master and preliminary plans from the planning board last month, and we're here for a dimensional variance to allow living space on the first floor of the converted garage. This lot is in the CD zone, and dwellings on the first floor are not usually allowed per section 402, note 4 of the zoning ordinance. So we need a variance. Notably, there's already 2 other living units on this site. There's a 3-bedroom, single-family dwelling in northwest corner of the lot, which is the top left, and an existing 4-family dwelling in the southwest corner of the lot. So Harry's done a good job with this project in that he's actually limited the density that could be on site. He could have up to 14 units with inclusionary bonuses, but he's limited it to 8, which we think was a wise move in light of the space available. Notably, this project has 3 new units, and this doesn't matter to you, but 2 of which will be affordable, and 1 affordable unit will be located on the first floor of the existing 4-unit building, and 1 affordable unit on the first floor of the converted garage. That's the relief we're seeking today. Overall, we think this is a nice project. It adds much-needed housing to the area, and with that, I'd ask Harry to be sworn in.
All right. Harry, just spell and state your name for us, please.
Harrison Bell, B-E-L-L.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
And Harry, you're the developer of 45 High Street?
Yes,
And you work with town staff since last July on this project?
that is correct.
And provided all the plans and material for this project to the board?
Yes.
And do you see this project as an improvement to the current garage on the northwest corner of the lot?
Yes.
And what are your plans for that garage?
I'm going to convert it to 3 apartments. I'm going to make it a lot nicer than it is right now. Yeah, that's it.
And you're going to renovate and rehabilitate all of the buildings on site?
Yeah, I'm going to fix all of them up, kind of just like paint the existing structures there.
And do you need living space on the first floor of that garage that's on the photograph right in front of us?
Yes.
And based on your review, do you think this is going to affect the general character of the area in any way?
I think it's going to make it a lot nicer, a lot better.
And the relief, if granted, is more than a mere inconvenience based on the situation here today?
Yes.
And if you aren't able to do this, it basically renders part of this project infeasible?
Yes.
And it wouldn't really make sense to complete this project having that living space on the first floor in light of the density on site.
Yes.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's pretty much sums everything up.
Happy to answer any questions.
Are there any commercial activities around the site in terms of behind or adjacent to the property and just
No.
being a commercial district?
There's a restaurant. There's a restaurant to the left of it.
Okay.
South.
But no other expected nuisances to potential occupants of the premises?
Nope.
Okay. And I just have, I mean, Jamie, do you have a sense as to, like, why do we prevent first floor occupancy? Is there a particular reason, or what's the point of doing that?
It's just specific to the commercial downtown, so I think the reasoning was majority of like Main Street, this portion of High Street would be so that you'd have residential on the second story and business retail use on the first floor. But I believe all the dwellings on this property have or there's no commercial on the first floor of the other existing. But I believe that's the intent and the reason of the section of the ordinance.
Just trying to maintain sort of commercial as one aspect of it, I guess, just first floor.
It's well-intentioned by planners, right, wanting to see active main streets and businesses, occupying street level, right, for people walking by, they can walk right in. But in many towns, we're seeing requests just like this because the need for housing is so acute.
And obviously, we would bring up, I mean, it's great to mix it, but at the same time, you wouldn't want to have like a coffee roaster right next to, let's say, or something that is potentially a nuisance because it's a commercial district next to a residential. I mean, we want to be somewhat thoughtful to that, I would think.
Agreed. I think it's, in this case, the building's very set back, and there's other residential units on the property, but case-by-case basis. Certainly on downtown Main Street, if every ground floor business was to convert to a dwelling, it would change the whole area, I'd imagine, but,
If they were to come back, like, let's say they want to open a store on the first floor of one of these buildings, they'd have to come back and convert it back, or no? They could just, they could become it?
They would have to come back to the planning board and may not have to come back to the zoning board, but certainly the planning board for the mixed use.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, board members?
Ooh, thank you. God bless you, Mr. Chairman. The planning board decision I don't see as part of the record here. Does someone have a copy of that? Can we look at it?
It may not be available if they just went last month.
I don't think we have it yet, actually. I don't recall receiving it. But we did get approvals with some conditions, which we agreed to. And we'd be happy to incorporate those.
Can you enumerate the conditions?
I think I have. My notes might not be the best. I'm sorry, I don't think I have those at my fingertips. I apologize. But we did agree to a series of conditions. Actually, I might have a copy. No. They would be listed in the staff report if you have access to that online. Oh, here it is.
Got them up on the screen, if you can direct me. The project memo.
Yes, there were a series of conditions. Looks like there was 14. I can provide this to you as this is the draft staff memo, if you'd like that.
Okay.
Do you want this back?
I can get a copy.
Can we just take a minute so I can look at this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's just take a 5 minutes. We'll come back at 9. Sorry, we're taking recess. We'll be back at 9:10.
Thank you.
All right. I know some folks are just kind of finishing up.
James, I'm going to mark that as applicant's exhibit 1, okay?
Thank you, sure.
So, Mr. Callahan, did you get a chance to kind of review this, or refresh your memory of this? You okay with this?
Right, we agreed to all those conditions.
Okay. All right. Who was asking this? Was it you? Do you have any other questions relative to this? Okay. Does any other board members have any questions for the applicant or the attorney? You guys want to? Oh, I'm sorry. Don't want to rush you.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yeah, please.
Whoops, wait a minute. Just out of curiosity, what's the square feet of each of the units you're proposing in that garage?
The bottom two are roughly 500 square feet, and the top one's probably 800. Or, yeah, around there.
So how many bedrooms per unit?
They're all one bedrooms.
Oh, they're all one
Yeah.
bedroom, okay.
That's great. I mean, that's pretty rare to kind of have a smaller unit like that around
Yeah.
here. So that's fantastic. What do you think, Mr. Rosen?
Well, the restaurant next door is the Flats, right?
Yes.
Yeah. There's another unit that is further down the street, north of the Flats, which is a residence, I believe. Is that correct?
There is another project.
There was another project, but I think that's been withdrawn.
It's back.
It's back.
That's before the planning board in June or soon. But it was before you for a variance.
Yeah.
That project expired for a variety of reasons, but it's coming back in its new form. And it's very similar to this project, actually.
Yeah. Other than the Flats, though, this is pretty residential, that area.
Correct. The car wash and the Rotary, I
And
guess.
the liquor store, but they're further, closer to the Rotary.
Right.
Yeah. No, this is definitely an addition. That garage is in pretty bad shape. The 4 apartments that are, where would it be? Southwest, is it? Yeah. 2 on the first floor and 2 on the.
There's 2 on the first floor, 1 on the second.
And what are the bedrooms?
Well, they're both 1 bedrooms on the first floor. Second floor is a 2-bedroom, and then the third floor is a 1-bedroom.
Any affordable there?
Yeah, on the bottom floor.
Ah, good.
And in the new garage,
And
there'll be an affordable
do you
too.
live in the single family?
I do not.
Okay, who lives there?
Family.
A family, yeah. I mean, not a relative or something?
No.
No. So you're just the developer?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You've got ample parking, it appears.
I do.
What is it, 1 car per apartment?
Just about, or 2 cars per apartment.
And I think there's more parking here than actually required because in the CD zone, you divide the parking requirements by half.
Okay. No.
Okay. Any other questions, board members? No? Anything to add?
No, thank you.
No? Mr. Daniels? Yeah, please.
I don't see any reference in here to hook up with the town sanitary sewer system. What's the story there?
Yeah, we can tie into the sewer.
You have approval?
Yes.
To do that without,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sewer and water approvals.
Great. All right. Is that it? Okay, thank you. Anyone out there want to speak on behalf of this petition, for or against? Okay. Seems real straightforward. It's a welcomed addition to the area to have some more affordable housing, and smaller unit affordable housing. I know it's very difficult. And it seems like the right place to do it. So, anyone want to give it a shot, or did I? You want to try, or do you want me to? Go for it, please.
Petition of Harrison Bell, 485 High Street, Wakefield, for a dimensional variance at a meeting held April 24th. The following individuals spoke representing the application: Attorney Callahan and Harrison Bell. There were no speakers in favor or opposition to this speaking tonight. The materials were read into the record by the chairman. The board finds that the hardship from this that the applicant is seeking relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and not the general characteristics of the surrounding area, and not due to physical or economic disability of the applicant, except those physical disabilities addressed in 45-243016. Looking to get a variance to allow for a residential dwelling on the first floor in the commercial district. There are a number of residential dwellings in that area, and also close proximity to the proposed location. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior actions of the applicant. He's taking an existing garage structure that needs repair and turning it into units that will be partially affordable housing and smaller, more affordable single bedroom units in the area which we need. The board finds that granting the request for this variance will not alter the general characteristics of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan upon which this ordinance is based. While it is in the commercial zone, there are a number of residential units abutting and in the general area. This will not alter or affect that area and how it's intended to be used, and will be a welcome addition to the neighborhood. The board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if the dimensional variance is not granted, does amount to more than a mere inconvenience, meaning that the relief sought is minimal to the reasonable enjoyment of the permitted use to which the property is proposed to be devoted. He'll be converting an existing garage. This matter has also gone in front of the planning board, and we have reviewed the conditions that they had on approval for this matter. The applicant has agreed to those conditions set forth by the planning board, and I do not see a reason to add any additional stipulations to this. So with that, I move to approve this matter.
Motion was made by Mr. Pelletier. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Rosen. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Pelletier? Aye. Mr. Rosen? Aye. Mr. Daniels? Aye. Ms. Hicks? Aye. Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Last but certainly not least, we have lost my place rather. We have the petition of Thomas and Nancy Weismuller of 80 Richardson Road, Wakefield, Rhode Island, 02879, for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a new dwelling on the premises and convert the existing 1,110 square foot single-family dwelling into a one-bedroom accessory apartment. The maximum living area permitted for an accessory apartment is 750 square feet. Lot size is 1.45. Special use permit is required per the zoning ordinance, section 503.2, accessory apartments. and Section 907 of Standards of Relief. Owner of the property is Nancy R. Weissmuller for premises located at 80 Richardson Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 9, Lot 23, and is zoned R80. For this application, we have cover letter signed and dated March 15th of this year. Owner authorization form signed and notarized March 15th, 2024. Existing conditions plan, 1 page, prepared by the Principe Company and stamped, signed, and dated by Nobert A. Therian, PLS, June 2nd, 2022. OWTS plan, 2 pages, prepared by Principe Company, Inc., and stamped and dated by Thomas J. Principe III, P.E., February 12th, 2024. 200-foot abutters list, radius map, legal notices, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening again.
Hello, Mr. Chair. James Callahan again. Thanks for your time. Here now on behalf of Thomas Weissmuller to my right and Nancy Weissmuller, Thomas's mother, to my left, sitting in the audience. Nancy is the owner of property located at 80 Richardson Road. Richardson Road is in the northwest corner of town, or section of town, abutting 100-acre pond. The lot itself is, well, it's map 9, lot 23, I believe, unless I'm mistaken. It's a long and thin lot, 100 feet by 646 feet. The only living space in the property is a small lake house. Notably, the lake house is really only equipped for occupancy during the summer. It does have a fireplace. But the Weissmullers would like to construct a new principal residence on the open space of the lot. That way, that would convert the lake house into an accessory unit. The accessory unit, or the lake house, is more than 750 square feet, which is existing right now. The lake house comprises 801 square feet of living space with a 309-foot porch. So we're asking for a special use permit to convert the existing lake house into a accessory unit and allow them to build a principal residence on the lot as well. You don't have any real requests here from us on the principal lot to be built. There will be a new OWTS system with the new house, and the existing OWTS will just service the lake house. So with that, I ask Mr. Weissmuller to be sworn in.
Absolutely. Just spell and state your name, please.
Yeah, it's Thomas Weissmuller, Weissmuller.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So please go ahead.
Mr. Weissmuller, your family owns property at 80 Richardson Road?
Yeah, we own the lot there and co-own the next 2 lots that are next to it. It's my grandfather's lots originally.
And your mother Nancy's here tonight?
She is, and if you could speak up, she's hard of hearing, and she's asked that you please speak very loudly in your mics.
And what is your proposal for any new construction on site?
We have a house that's going to be up on the top. You can see on the design that's up on the board right now. That's going to be a family residence, and basically this started a long time ago with my mother and father, thinking they would build on the lot, but my father died 21 years ago, and my mom just never made the move. She's lives for 6 months, or for about 4.5 months, basically from May 1st to the end of October most times, watching the Red Sox inside the lower cottage, which is uninsulated. She intends to keep doing that for the rest of her life. And what we're doing is we're building up on the hill so she can have one level living up on the hill. And I'm going to plan to be there with her as well, or one of my children thereafter, because that may be necessary in a couple of years. So, and then I'll be the one, hopefully, that's in the one level living, and maybe one of my kids will be kind enough to stay with me. So.
And the existing lake house is approximately 1,100 square feet?
Yeah, and the lake house is interesting. It's one of the first 2 true fishing cottages built on a lake. If you've been down 100 Acre Pond, you know it. It's been on TV, the little, very unusual looking boathouse that sits there. People tell me that they've seen it on all kinds of fishing things. We have people that come down and ice fish all the time because we're not there in the winter. This has been our family's summer cottage since the 1940s. They started renting it in the 1930s. And then bought all of the things that you see to the right. The Mackenzies, that's the Arnold Lumber folks. Carol Mackenzie was here to support us today, but she left because she saw the number of people who were waiting. They live to the left side of what you can see up there. And we've maintained these fishing cottages as our summer cottages for 80 years now. My grandfather bought them. My mother inherited the lot that we're talking about today. She and her sisters share the lots just to the other side of that, which is why you can see on the picture that we cleared beyond what you can see. My grandmother put in a pine forest there. When I was 5 and 10 years old, we added 100 and some odd pine trees, and we took those out because they were pretty much kind of rotting up there. And so we're intending to maintain the summer cottage uninsulated right where it is. The porch of the cottage, which is what you would have us technically take down, or at least I guess you take the roof off of it or take the screens off of it, that actually reflects our family history. Beginning in 1942, we have a board that shows what we did that year, what my grandfather did. Shows each of the kids born, goes all the way around the porch. So really, I mean, we can put the house on it, but if we do and follow the law the way it is today, we'd be taking that porch off. And it's just a screened-in porch. We actually just remodeled it before this law came along, and we amended, or we changed the dynamic of this piece of property already when they first intended to move in to make it a mother-in-law. So it's only a little one-bedroom, and they say there's 800 square feet finished inside. It's just basically a living room with a fireplace, one bedroom off of that, a bathroom and a kitchen. And it comes to about 700 some odd square feet that you can utilize. The rest is cubby holes and stuff like that. The 300 feet that we're talking about, that is the offensive 300 feet, is just a screened-in porch. And maybe you've taken a walk down there. I think you checked out every piece of property so far. So if you've walked on the property, you know what we're talking about.
And if this special use permit is granted, will this alter the general character of the area in any way?
No, in fact, our goal is to keep the cottage. I mean, to alter the character of the area, to take out the fishing cottages. I mean, they're old and they're not maintained particularly well. This one is. The one on the hill, we'll do a little remodel on that eventually. It's in the plans, but it's just going to probably maintain its character as well.
And will this have any effect on ingress or egress to the lot?
No, we are going to put in a driveway that's more functional to the upper unit so that we can stay on level ground. Richardson Road is a road that circles around and comes up to the shared McKenzie driveway. So we basically circle right through. Either side can use it. It feeds basically 3 lots there. So that's going to be maintained.
And there'll be no issues with on-site parking? There's plenty of places to park on-site.
Yeah, we've got acres to park over the course of, whoever's using it in the family, cousins, and for the most part use it.
And no issues with noise, glare, odor based on these projects?
No, we do plan to put in some new trees because we tore down the forest. We're going to make it look like, we could put in some nice trees right around it. That's about all. Make it look like a nicer yard.
And anything else you'd like to add?
No.
No further questions.
Board members, questions for the applicant? Not yet?
Yes.
Mr. Rosen.
Bear with me, okay, because this was very, very confusing to me. Estelle Drive comes down.
It does.
I never heard of Richardson, to tell you the truth, because I've been up there a number of times, had friends who lived on, way up on Estelle Drive. When I got over there, I saw that you had clear cut a lot.
No, we cut the trees. We didn't
Yeah,
rip
that's
out
what I
any
mean by
roots.
clear cut.
Yeah, they were all bad.
There's just stumps there right now.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. You come in on your right, there's a man cave, or at least it says it's a man cave. I don't know. It looks like a garage to me.
That's the McKenzie's garage on the right?
Is that the McKenzie's garage?
That's the McKenzie's
Okay,
garage, that's
got
right.
it. And then there's a house that's further down. Is that the McKenzie house?
That's the McKenzie house, yeah.
Okay, got it. I'm
And they
sure
have a
that
second
nobody
house as
here is
well.
going to understand what the heck I'm talking about.
Yeah, those are all 3 McKenzie houses. The history of that's pretty interesting. My grandfather bought the lot that they're on, and if you look at the McKenzie's land, it just collapses to the right.
Right.
So they couldn't put a driveway in. So he let them put the driveway on our land in those days. We didn't have any zoning back then. So that guy that built that predates Arnold Sr., Arthur Arnold, who owns Arnold's Lumber.
Right.
He bought that, I think, in the 1950s. And the folks who were there before them, the guy's now a famous writer. What's the writer's name? The writer that's from town here? Winslow, yeah. Don Winslow, he was a little kid that lived there. When they put the driveway in, they split it between the land. So if you look at where the land boundary is, our property goes over to the middle of the Mackenzie driveway, because otherwise they wouldn't have had one. The Winslows wouldn't have had a driveway. They would have had to somehow S it. It was a mess. So my grandfather let him do that. And so that's why they call it Richardson Road, because it just basically loops down the split of the Mackenzie, now Weissmuller property, and circles all the way around and comes back up and to meet at the top. And my grandfather, Louis Richardson, he was an architect here of some acclaim years ago. Somehow or other, he managed to have it turned into Richardson Road. Now, I always call it 100 Acre Pond Road, and try and figure out the address. I think it's like 184 100 Acre Pond Road if you just follow that. But even that road's not really a road. That road right at Estelle Drive becomes the property of, what do you call it, the corporation that's there, Wolf Rock Corporation. That's Bill Myers or something like that. He's a nice guy. He owns that property, and we all have an easement that feeds off of it.
Yeah, and he's over on Route 2.
If you loop around, he's actually right at the very end.
Right.
Bill usually wins our sailing armada every year. Okay. It's a fast sailor.
If you go down that hill to your lake house, there's another house or a cottage over to the left.
Yes, that's actually on the next piece of property. So
that has nothing to do with you.
Well, no, we own that.
So you own that?
Yeah, but
okay.
it's divided
so
between...
So you own the entire...
One family member or the other. Louis Richardson owned it all, and then he tried to divide it into 4 pieces of property to give to his 4 children.
Okay. Just 1 or 2 questions more, and I'll get off of all this. This is really fascinating, by the way. Where's your actual house going to go that you're building?
If you were to
relative to the Mackenzie house.
Yeah, if you were to turn and look right down that Mackenzie driveway,
yeah,
and you get to the Mackenzie house on the right, the first one right up on the hill, that's Carol's house. We're going to be right to the left of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Sorry.
What? No, doing your job. Any other questions, board members? Nope. Okay. Anything else to add?
No, thanks.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Do you guys want to come up and speak, since you're the last ones here? No? Okay. Excellent. And you guys okay back there?
That's my mom.
Yeah.
And that's my daughter, Alexis.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys don't want to speak at all? You're good? Okay, excellent.
Okay. One question. If
Tell your mother there's nothing wrong.
For the new house that you're going to be building.
Yes.
Wait a minute. For the new house you're going to be building, you don't need any dimensional variances or anything like that?
No, we don't. It just so happens the way the law changed recently, you started counting porches, where I think in the mother-in-law, we wouldn't have needed to be here. But that law doesn't apply anymore, so now we're under this ADU law. So.
I just wanted to say one thing to your mother.
Yes, you have to say it loud.
I got hearing aids too, so.
Okay.
So everybody speaks softly is the problem. Okay, any other thoughts, concerns, board members? Seems real straightforward. I mean, you're not making any alterations to the existing dwelling, they're not expanding it. That it's just going to kind of remain the same. There's no need to go backwards on it and make it smaller. You know, it's a big piece of property. It doesn't seem like that this will have any effect on any adjacent neighbors. So it seems pretty straightforward, I think. Okay. Does anyone want to give it a shot? Okay. Excellent. Dimensional. Oh, special? Sorry. Don't listen to me.
Normally, the relief is, you know, relief on square footage is dimensional, but for accessory apartments, we allow dimensional relief by special use permit.
Right. And okay, I'll move approval of the petition of Thomas and, sorry here, Thomas and Nancy Weissmuller. Your name is right on the corner there. Oh. The following individuals spoke, lawyer James Callahan and Thomas Weissmuller, the owner of the property. This is a big property. There was nobody that spoke in opposition or in support of this other than the family members that are here, although they didn't speak, so nothing wrong with that, believe me. So, and the chairman has put into the record both the petition itself and the materials that we have on record. As a result of my move to approve, the board finds that the special use is specifically authorized by this ordinance. This property, they really don't have to have any dimensional variances at all associated with the property. They own most of the land that's there, so they can do with this property as they wish. This is really just a special use permit associated with the adjacent, the ADU that's down near the lake, which was built in 1942, I believe, and probably needs some work on it. However, there is some sentimental value associated with the porch itself, and they're going to keep that property, but they're going to upgrade it, which is probably good. The board finds that the special use meets all the criteria set forth in subsection of this ordinance authorizing such a special use. There's no problem associated with this. The lake house needs some improvements as such, and those are going to be taken care of. The property itself is, as I said, rather large and rather complex. And I assume that over the years, the property, which actually doesn't look very good right at the moment because of the number of stumps that are out there, but most of those are probably going to be removed at some point. And this property is going to be made much more functional. The board finds that the granting of the special use permit will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of this ordinance or the comprehensive plan of the town. In so doing, the board has considered whether or not satisfactory provisions and arrangements have been or will be made concerning, but not limited to, the following matters which are applicable. And most of these are not applicable associated with anything. They're really just building an ADU, and they need this special use permit to upgrade that ADU as such. I think that's all that there is, and so I move approval of this petition.
Motion was made by Mr. Rosen. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Daniels. Any other discussion? Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Mr. Daniels?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks? Mr. Pellissier?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck, guys. Thank you. All right, so we have a roll call for May 15th. Is that right? Is everybody going to be able to make it, May 15th? I'm going to be a maybe. Okay. Excellent. All right. That's right. We've got some depth now.
Just let me, can you just let me know prior to? Absolutely. Thank you.
And then we do have the March 20th, 2024 minutes. Anybody want to make any changes to those minutes?
Nope.
Any concerns? No? So moved, all in favor? Aye. Any other business? Hope you guys had a good first meeting? Excellent. Next meeting, you make your first, no, I'm kidding. No, other than that, so motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Excellent.
Good job.
I'm amazed that we got through it.
With proper attention, like it's not as if we were just passing to pass.
Thank God there was nobody was testing it here.